Hey everybody, it's TorontoUnicorn. So it's July 1st, 2022, and it is a very big day for me. And I've been kind of counting down, and now it's happened, and I wanted to share it with you. So if you combine the total views on my YouTube channel and my TikTok, together it has now surpassed 10 million views. Literally over 10 million views and counting. And to be honest, I really only started my YouTube journey about a year ago. So to think that I could get 10 million eyes on my content in that amount of time is just mind-boggling. I mean, I'll be honest with you, this time last year, in 2021, the highest view count I had on any of my videos was I think like maybe 1,000, and most of my videos had maybe a couple hundred. I used to think a 200 view video was a good video. Otherwise, if I had a 30 view video, it kind of sunk, you know? And so that's where I started. And I did this because I was in a COVID lockdown and I was stuck in my apartment as a single person, and I was bored. And I was like, what can I do? And so I started like writing, poetry and like things like that. And like I even put journal posts on like another site that I'm actually thinking of converting back over to my website. So basically I had all these different outlets, and then I made sexual memes. I started making graphics with messages behind them, and I'm going to throw some of these on my website so that you can see them, TorontoUnicorn.com. I'm going to have a whole post about them. But basically it was my way of communicating sexual like etiquette through memes that are pretty blunt and bold that haven't been done before. In my way, I guess. So anyways, that's how I started. And then I took the camera and I put it on because at the time I had an ex-boyfriend who had upset me a lot, and he's the kind of guy that just like keeps coming back, right? Like he just like comes back no matter how big the fight was. And I remember I held the camera up and I made a video, and I know exactly what dress I was wearing and everything. And I'm going to put a clip of the thumbnail below so you can see. It's also, I'll link it to the description. It was how to win over women with persistence if they're pissed off. That was the theme of the video, is how to basically get us less pissed off at you so that we'll take you back. And it was funny because he watched it and like, it was kind of true, right? And it worked. And eventually, I always got over the things and I would go back, but now I don't go back, but at the time I did. And so that was just the first video. And even to this day, that video doesn't have very many views because it's really old, right? But even the lighting's terrible. The sound quality is like not good. Like I was very amateur. Everybody starts out that way, right? Unless you're like gifted. And I remember that's how I started. And then I made another video about something else and another video about something else. And I just remember I tried to make my channel something, and I wanted it to be something, and that's not actually where it went. Where it is now was one of 3 possible ways my channel could have gone. Actually, no, there's a 4th one, but the 4th one's kind of hush-hush now. I'm just like, gonna leave that alone. So the first idea was that I was in like lingerie dancing around because I was like newly kind of in the sex club environment, and then they locked it all down. They closed the sex clubs. I was in my house. I was like body positive, getting to be body positive, and I was like, okay, let's buy some lingerie. And like, okay, now that I have the lingerie, who should I show it to? So I would post it online, and then I would do a little video of me on YouTube in like lingerie, and I was just like a hobby, right? I wanted those videos to be like, seen or whatever. Now I'm kind of glad that those are the ones that were kind of fizzled out, because that's a lot to maintain, and I just don't always want to be in lingerie dancing, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes I just want to be chilling and like smoking a lot of weed. So that's just, that's probably a good thing. But I actually thought this channel was going to be about advice specifically to men about, how to win over women and like things that are in our minds that you may not know, and how to up your game, how to level up your game with women, things like that, because that's where I thought I was going with this channel. But even my advice videos aren't the most watched videos on this channel. And so I sprinkle advice in here and there, but really I had to realize that that's not what the audience was asking for from this channel. For the most part, they were asking for my stories. Story time videos are how I made this channel. If you look at my channel and list them by view count, it's all stories. It's all like, this is when I had, this, and I fulfilled a fantasy and all these things. And like, it's really just the videos, and they're all long. They're longer videos. The top 5 videos I have are like over 5 minutes for the most part. Some of them, one of them's 20 minutes. So you can't pick your audience. Your audience picks you. And I'm happy that you like my stories. I have a trunk of stories, like an emotional trunk of stories that I could pull out. I have lived 9 lives just like a cat, and I could tell you about all of them. honestly, I don't know where to go with my stories. I recently released a story about how I partied in my teens, and I'm definitely going to be releasing the part 2 of that, which is how I partied in my 20s. But otherwise, I have lots of other stories. I'm an energy healer. I was healed with energy healing a long time ago. I used to be a lot more angry, a lot more negative, and then I had, this help, and then I got better, and now, I feel like my life is a lot better. So that's something I could talk about. I actually have some old video diaries from that time in my life where I documented the journey from like that angry kind of stuck girl to the blossoming, having a threesome at a sex club girl. Like I actually have those on video. Now those are super secretive right now because they're don't show me in the same way as you would be familiar with me here. But I do have it as a pet project, maybe one day, to convert some sort of a documentary to show how I did that. If you're interested in hearing about that, I need you to comment below, because if you don't mention it, I won't know and I won't do it. So if you want to see it, you got to put it down below. So yeah, I have other things to talk about too. I mean, I just had so many lives. I went to university, I went to college, I lived in residence a few years in a row. I basically used to be in high school. I used to like beat up girls. Like I was kind of an aggressive, angry kid and like a bit of a don't fuck with me kind of girl. Like it was like, I have many lives that I have lived. Now I'm quite more balanced today than I used to be at high school, but I think we all are. But I was always a rebel. I was always fight the system, fuck authority. I've always been that way. I was a nightmare to my teachers. Some of them were wonderful with me and actually saw the potential in me and encouraged me. And that was helpful because I was also just ADHD and undiagnosed, and I created a ruckus. I'm not gonna lie, I created a ruckus. But there is one memory I did have that I wanted to share on a closing note, that one of my earliest memories from school was in a very young grade. I don't know, grade 4 is what's coming to my head, but that seems young. I don't know. All I know is someone played the song, I'm Too Sexy by Right Said Fred. I'm too sexy, you know that? And I got on top of my desk at school and started like dancing to it in front of the students. I remember vividly feeling that that was exactly what I wanted to do in that moment. Just start stripping to the song in front of all of my classmates. Now, I don't know how old I was at that age, but that was always in me, and that is in me now. I am now Toronto Unicorn. I have a whole exhibitionist personality where I show everything about my sex to people. I even show my actual sex to people on my fan page. So it really I'm offering you a view because I'm just so nonchalant about sharing also. I hope you get inspired by my journey. I hope that you can see that anything is possible for yourself as well. No dream is too big. No dream is too stupid. People laughed at me. Some people probably, still laugh at me when they see some of my videos where I'm dancing in a big lingerie outfit. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because I've recently, in the last few years, started to learn and really live with the idea of, it doesn't matter what people think of you. Why does it fucking matter what somebody on Facebook from when you were 20, who cares? You're never going to see them again. Like, even if you do, who cares? They probably have like their own big secret or miserable life or whatever it is. So like, I just think people hold a lot of weight in what they think other people think of them. And I just think if you start to realize that that can actually be a choice that you make, whether or not you give a shit. Doesn't mean you have to be out like I am, but it means you don't have to like live your life in secrecy or even hold yourself back from doing anything you want to do because of what you think people will think. I just think fuck that shit. I've never felt freer than when I don't care what people think. So I hope that helps. Thank you for the 1 million views. You have no idea what that means to me. I mean, it's encouraging. It makes me feel like I want to share more. And I hope that you are along for the rest of the journey I'm going to be continue sharing, because it's not going to stay the same. Right now I'm on a break from Oasis for 2 weeks, and then I'll go back and I'll be excited to go back again. But I don't know where this goes. What if I get a boyfriend? Like, what if I have other things change in my life? Am I going to keep doing this? I don't know. But for now, I'm so thrilled to have you on the journey with me. Let's see if we can get 10 million more. make sure you visit TorontoUnicorn.com because I have journal posts where I have pictures of myself from when I was younger, doing, you know, big life transitions and things, and you can see the stuff that I talk about on YouTube. You'll be able to see some photographs from that time period on my website. So I hope you check it out, TorontoUnicorn.com. Check out my fan page. That's where all the action is.